Hi everyone, welcome to a brand new season and a brand new episode of Reading to You. Hello everyone and welcome to a brand new episode of Reading to You. I'm bringing to you today a book that I have found so useful as a teacher, but also have gifted and recommended it to parents. If you're anybody who has to do anything with children, then I have a beautiful suggestion for you. The book, When You Wonder, You Are Learning, Mr. Rogers' Enduring Lessons for Raising Creative, Curious, Caring Kids, from Greg Bear and Ryan Rydwiski, if I'm pronouncing that right. Greg is the director of Grable Foundation. He also founded Remake Learning, which is a global network of thought leaders, educators, scientists, and artists. And Ryan is a former teacher turned journalist who writes about everything from school to space to travel. Ryan and Greg take the massive universe of Mr. Fred Rogers' work and TV show and take learnings from it to stitch into this book. If many of you remember Mr. Rogers as the successful host of a television show for children, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, that lasted for more than 30 years, and they take the learnings of that show and weave it into learnings for the digital age. This book, When You Wonder, You Are Learning, is a beautiful example of how we can make our children more curious, more creative in simple ways, from simple things, because that's what Mr. Fred Rogers did in his life and his career. I love this book so much because it gives you examples, practical solutions, scientific data studies laced in the manner of simple language and stories, and encourages you to be a masterful change maker in the lives of children. I wanted to pick up this book because during COVID, so many of us have seen our children or somebody's children in our neighborhood lack a lot of social skills because of everything becoming virtual. And this book comes handy for anybody who's looking out there for solutions to make their children have certain sense of normalcy and learning. It talks about curiosity, it talks about failing. And I wanted to read to you today some of the things I underlined in the book while I was reading it. In one of the chapters about curiosity, Ryan and Greg write, Susan Angel went searching for curiosity in elementary school classrooms. And for most part, she found that kindergartners asked very few questions and spent little time investigating the environment. In any given 2-hour stretch, we'd see anywhere from 2 to 5 questions of exploration. Angel recounts that in 5th grade classrooms, the situation was even more striking. A typical 2-hour stretch of time often didn't yield even one student question. That means 11-year-olds often go for hours at a time in school without indicating anything they want to know about. Through the study that Angel and other colleagues have done on different population, they differ in geography, their diverging results suggest that hypothetically the same child who asks 2 questions per minute at home might hear fewer than 2 questions per hour in class. Angel notes that even in the livelier classroom she observed, genuine wonder was absent. In most cases, kids followed clear-cut directions towards a predetermined objective. Of course, there are plenty of good reasons to limit children's inquiry. And then she continues to write that the truth is we can end up chastening children's curiosity when we're actually trying to channel it. How many of us have come home exhausted after a long day only to shortchange, redirect, or otherwise ignore a child's inquiries? In the moment, sometime when your child asks you a question, Greg and Ryan beautifully say, and almost hold accountable parents, who sometimes say easily, I don't know, or ask your mother, or where's your iPad, Google this. But over time, these very responses, our cues, can signal that we neither value nor encourage children's questions and so their curiosity. Curiosity is so fragile, in fact, that we can cancel it without even speaking. As mentioned in the book, when babies want to know about something, they point to it, but they'll only continue to do so if their pointing results in answers. Moreover, those answers have to be good answers. In one study, researchers have found out that when incompetent or inattentive adults give bad information, babies become less likely to point. It's sobering to think that even at such an early age, infants are capable of telling whether or not you are an idiot, writes Leslie, the researcher they quote. Other clues can be subtle. Research has shown that kids are much more likely to explore unfamiliar objects if adults that make encouraging faces or otherwise show their interest in the object. In other words, children can catch our curiosity if we model it. If we want to raise curious kids, it will help to be curious ourselves, both visibly and verbally. It's what you bring to children every day. You're listening, you're caring, you're enthusiasm, you're responding to their ideas, their thoughts, their feelings, that encourages and inspires children to ask questions and to be imaginative. Fred Rogers wrote to adults, by responding thoughtfully to children's questions, you're encouraging their curiosity even when you don't know the answer. You are letting them know it's good to wonder and ask. I love that line. It's good to wonder and ask. Because a Chinese proverb I read years ago in school said, the one who asks a question remains a fool for 5 minutes. The one who doesn't ask a question remains a fool for a lifetime. And the way we treat our children's inquiries, their questions, their curiosity is a way of deciding for them, are they going to be negligent, ignorant about an issue for 5 minutes or for an entire lifetime? Wonder, our sense of imagination and roaming and exploring giant and small things around us can have a huge impact on the kind of individual and personality we grow up to be. Our learning is so interdependent to smaller reactions at home or in classrooms. And this book, When You Wonder You Are Learning, comes to vouch how important and impactful that association is with curiosity. I love how Ryan and Greg have taken a television show of all things and a personality so endearing to children and broken his philosophies, his learnings in simple terminologies for everyone else who may or may not have seen the show. So if you watch the show, this is a good nostalgia and a good recap of Fred Rogers' takeaways and life lessons. And if you've never seen the show, this is a good start to build that very essence of the television show and Fred Rogers' legacy in your home with your children. I encourage you to pick up this book, order it online, read it for yourself, and course correct smaller mistakes that most parents or teachers or facilitators make when engaging with children. I love this book and I highly recommend you read it too.